Hi Aquarius, this is your monthly reading for the month of June for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and this is not going to resonate for every single Aquarius out there. All right, you guys, let's get started. So what is happening for my Aquariuses for the month of June? We have Confucius, which is the Judgment card. We have the Four of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Eight of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the King of Swords, the Nine of Staffs, and then we have the Two of Swords. Okay, Aquarius. So for the month of June, one of the things that I'm starting to kind of see is I feel like you guys are not seeing something clearly. One of the things that I'm kind of getting is a sense of blame. So whether you're aware of it or not, Aquarius, you could be either blaming yourself or blaming another person. And I feel like this is what's keeping you from not seeing the obvious, what's in front of you, because your emotions could be clouding your judgment. And I feel like why that is because maybe you've invested emotionally into something and maybe you've been wanting to and it's like you've been feeling kind of stuck in that energy because you've invested so much emotionally into it. You feel stuck inside of it. That is kind of keeping you from really, again, seeing what you want clearly or what you think you want clearly, because your emotions are blocking I think it's also interesting because it's like you feel like you have to be on guard. I just feel like there's some kind of decision, but you haven't made it yet. Because it's like you're waiting for, it's almost like you yourself, Aquarius, is waiting on finding the truth. Whatever your truth is, it's like you're waiting on some sort of truth. You want it to be tangible, something that you can see, something that you can hold. You want to see, like, the stability of it. But there's this belief deep down inside somewhere that you feel like it's like you're almost afraid that things will never be the same again, even. I'm also getting as well that there's this sense of if I fail, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. So it's like you self-sabotage every time. So maybe you can get emotionally invested into something, but then self-sabotage because of that fear. And it's like you wait around for a sign or you wait around for something to happen. And it's almost like when things come your way, that's when you feel like, oh, it's either meant to be or it's not. But like sometimes you are more likely to take what's given to you instead of trying to find a way to get what it is that you want. I think a lot of you guys kind of come at life a little bit in the way of like, don't worry, be happy kind of an attitude. But there's still this sense like you need to acknowledge the ghost in the room. You need to acknowledge what is keeping you from really achieving your dreams, what's really keeping you from going after your goals and your aspirations. Because it feels like you're telling yourself that it's like, oh, if I don't worry about it, if I don't stress about it, then it's like I won't manifest the bad. But you're stressed, like, bit deep down inside, you're afraid that you're going to fail again. So you try to prevent that by speaking only about the good. But then it's like nothing seems to happen and go the way you want it to. You know, it's like maybe you guys are aware of the law of attraction and you're like, well, if I speak negative or if I think negative, then that's all I'm going to attract. But subconsciously you have these like beliefs, like when you say to yourself like, oh, I can achieve that. In the back of your mind, you're like, no, I can't. And you're like, yes, I can. No, I can't. And then you're like, yes, I can. And you argue with yourself in your mind sometimes. And it's like you're trying to convince yourself that you can do this, but you believe deep down inside that you can't. And it's like your surroundings or people around you that you feel like are not as supportive or isn't helping you either. And it's like you are committed to this, you want this, and you're willing to sit there and work it out and balance it out in your mind and in yourself. But then at the same time, if there's this piece of you that's like, I'm afraid that it's like in your mind, you understand maybe why you're doing like the self-sabotage, but when you try to go out to do it, you're still scared to do it. So you just stay stuck in that decision. Because staying stuck in the decision is more comfortable than taking that action. So let's see, let's get some clarifiers here for my Aquariuses. See, it's like you want to do something tangible. And it's like, you know, like you want to let certain things go. Like I feel like a lot of you guys, there's a piece of you that worries about doing it on your own. If this is making your own business, or if this is starting something in your life where you feel like you have to make you're trying to make something stable. And you want to be invested into this because you feel like it's going to make you happy. And you know that it's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's like there's this sense of burden every time you try to do it. It's like there's this resistance. It's like there's a million reasons to why you can't do it, right? It's like 100 problems. It's like you don't know what to do. And it's because in your past, I feel like a lot of you guys could have seen like a parent or a figure being frustrated all the time. And it's like they gave up all the time. And so you saw that. and you thought to yourself, like you're afraid of that failure, but that's what you do. You give up too quick. And then it's like, then you wonder why nothing comes your way. And then you sit there and then you go back and forth in your mind, or you go back and forth where you take the action and then you pull back. And then you take the action and then you pull back. And that's what's causing you a lot of frustration, anger, upset. The reason why you feel this irritation inside of yourself, why you're quick to maybe blow up at people. There's something here, and it's because it's that fear that it's not going to work out. It's like you are afraid to, it's like you're worried about attracting the negative. So you try not to focus on the negative, but it's like you guys need to do more shadow work. It's like you have to think about it in this term too. We can't ignore the parts of us that we deem as bad, because all that does is push it deeper into the subconscious, which then that's what comes out physically. So then you're self-projecting that out there. And so, of course, it's going to come right back. So every time when you feel that fear, when you feel a certain emotion, or when you feel like, ooh, it's not okay to have power, it's not okay to be sexual, it's not okay to be certain things, and it's like you have this shadow side that's, you feel like it is deemed not okay in society. I feel like some of you guys might suppress those parts of you, and that's what's coming up, and that's what's showing you, and that's why you're having the self-sabotage, is because when we deny parts of ourselves, we self-sabotage ourselves. And then it can show up in our friendships, it can show up in our partnerships, and then it's like you're left here feeling beaten and feeling as though life is unfair, that things happen to you instead of for you. And it almost feels like it's weird, because at times you feel like you're so sure that you know what you really want, that you gain that clarity. But then when you try to go for it, sometimes it's like, again, it's like there is this feeling of us being stuck emotionally, feeling stuck. And then that's when you feel defeated again. It's this sense of defeation. It's like, yeah, I just can't go after what it is I want. And then there again, there's those 100 problems that you have. And it's because when we make a mistake, frustration can occur, because then we feel like, well, this should be easy. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why is this so hard? It's like, why is there a learning curve? You have to learn to be patient, because for sometimes there are things that are easy for you to pick up, and then there are things that are hard for you to pick up. And I feel like just because it's easier for one person doesn't mean that it's going to be easy for you, and vice versa. So I feel like you need to pause. You need to take in that breath. At times when you feel frustrated, you just need to understand, why did I start in the first place? And ask yourself these important questions when you feel frustrated or when you feel like giving up. Because I feel like some of you guys, you start on a project and then you give up midway because, again, frustration and a bunch of emotions come to the surface. You feel stuck, you feel trapped. Some of you guys, it might even be hard to breathe, because it's this sense of, what if I do achieve this? Sometimes we're more afraid of gaining the power. Sometimes we're more afraid of having more, because then it's like, well, then that's when you're going to really be who you are. And I feel like for some of you guys, you're afraid that you can't handle this power. You're afraid that you can't handle parts of yourself when you gain certain aspects or when you start to improve in your life. So we self-sabotage ourselves to keep ourselves small or to keep ourselves unseen because we're afraid of what might come with it. And so I feel like a lot of you guys, when you are working through this, you need to realize, those are just fears. That doesn't mean that that's going to be our reality. So you're having to figure out how to make yourself become more consciously aware of, is it just a problem that I'm creating in my mind? Or is it really an issue? And then if it is really an issue, can I actually solve this problem? Instead of coming up with excuses. Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. There are so many ways to get that money or to get that resource. So I feel like a lot of people right now, when we are going through a lot of stuff in the world right now, it's like a lot of people feel stuck. A lot of people feel like they don't have very many options in life. And you have to learn to get out of that mindset. And that's what I'm really getting here for my Aquariuses. So I feel like for the month of June, that's kind of something that you're going to be going through a lot in your mind. Is having to work through that and rationalize that out. And then to also allow yourself to work through that fear and to work through these emotions that you have. Because I feel like frustration is a key factor here, because it's like frustration is very close to anger, because anger and frustration are like hand in hand. But I like to think of anger as you're more expressive, but with frustration you might just go, oh, I can't believe this, and it's like you shake and you might tense up, and then it's just like, I'm done, and you're just quick to give. While with anger you might be quick to do certain actions. So it's like frustration, it's like not quite anger, but it's about anger. It's like anger ramping up. It's like running the engine before you explode, because you go frustration, anger, rage, and that's kind of how you have to look at it. So when you get frustrated, you have to realize, you're just like running that engine before you start to get angry, before you start to go, and then you start to speed up. That's rage. So you need to kind of see that. Because I feel like once you guys acknowledge that frustration and say, okay, why am I really actually frustrated? And when you look back, it's probably going to be because you're sad, you were disappointed. It can be lots of different types of issues that you've experienced throughout your life where you were never able to express those emotions. And it's like feeling disappointed in losses, feeling disappointed in how things ended in your life. I'm also getting that, just not getting that nurture or that love that you needed. And it's like feeling as though every time you made a mistake as a child, they got angry at you. So every time you make a mistake, that's just a trigger now for you. It's like, oh, I have to get angry at myself because I made this mistake, because everybody always was. And so you took that in as, well, every time I make a mistake, I need to get angry at myself now. And it's not like we consciously do it. But that's a pattern that we develop at a young age. So right here we have isolation. I feel like a lot of my Aquariuses at the time of June, you might want to start to kind of isolate yourself a little bit more. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be, like I said, maybe a little more introspective at times. You're going to maybe want to go out and do something alone. There's something here where you might want to just kind of isolate yourself from other people and just kind of be in your own energy, because I feel like a lot of you guys, you're trying to figure out what it is that you really want in life, and you're trying to find the purpose that's going to make you happy, but yet you're still struggling. You're still having a hard time finding yourself, because you always give up on things that you feel like is important to you, only because you feel like you're not worthy of having it, or you're afraid of that power. You're afraid of, what if I do succeed, or what if I try my hardest and I fail and everyone sees me fail? It's like all these beliefs you have, it's like you're having to work through them this month. So we have forgiveness. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to have to forgive yourself and forgive those around you that could have caused you to have this type of a wounding, could cause you to be the way that you were. I feel like a lot of you guys, you develop this perfectionism in your life where you feel like everything has to be perfect, and you always try to strive for perfection before you go after something. But that's one of your issues. That's why you get so frustrated, as well as you need to realize that not everything is going to be perfect, especially when you first start out. It's going to look messy. It's not going to look great. You're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have a learning curve, but you need to understand that it doesn't have to be perfect. And sometimes it's actually the imperfections that make it so unique, that make it so beautiful. So stop trying to make everything perfect. You are not a robot, right? We have to remind ourselves that at times, because sometimes people, especially when we're young, they ask so much of us. They expect so much of us. And we're not designed to be perfect. We're designed to be imperfect. That's what makes the world go round. That's why everybody is so vastly different. Because I believe that if the world was going to be perfect, then we would all look the same. We would all be treated the same. Everything would be so boring. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you need to realize that it's okay to have that shoot for the stars and land on the moon, like not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to work out what you want it to be in your mind. But just know that you need to start it, and you need to just be patient with yourself. We also have miracles. So for a lot of you guys, something might just fall into your lap, or you might learn something that's going to help you to be able to start this project, or to be able to work on whatever this is that you want, Aquarius. Whether this is like a relationship, a career, something, anything. It could be family, friends. I just feel like for a lot of you guys, whatever this is, something is going to present itself to you that's going to be able to help you if you choose to accept this. So somebody, for instance, if you want to start a career, somebody be like, oh, I know how to do this, and I can help you with that marketing, or I can help you do this or that. Maybe you should consider taking them up on their offer. There's something here maybe in June, or like a little bit after June, and somewhere into July perhaps, where you might start to see things or new opportunities open up for you guys, and you need to be open-minded and be able to look around and see all of the opportunities. So start changing the perspectives that you are having about certain situations, so that you can be able to see these opportunities when they come your way. We also have at the bottom of the deck, self-worth. So I feel like right now, this is testing your self-worth. This is helping you build your character. This is helping you slowly build your self-esteem up, so that you can actually change who you are as a person. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you're afraid of changing. Maybe you're afraid of what you might become. You're afraid of losing a piece of you. But you need to know that we're always evolving. We're always changing. And that's just the way of life. We always have to let things go as we continue on, so that we can get more in the long run. So I feel like a lot of you guys, you need to get into that ebb and flow, learn how to channel and get into your moment, get into the moment and start your project, and just get into that trance of being in that moment with whatever it is that you want to do. And I feel like things are going to start coming to you. Things are going to start flowing easier for you. So have that patience for yourself here, Aquarius, because I feel like you're going to have some ups and downs. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you just need to realize that nothing has to be perfect, but you need to start somewhere. So just start and just keep going. Even if you get frustrated, take a break, but don't quit. So that's what I have for my Aquariuses for the month of June. Hopefully this resonates for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.